What were you thinking when you saw you were getting a second chance after the recovery of that blocked punt?
We needed a break. We haven't got many this year, but it was nice to get that one. Nice to come out of this with a win.
Joe Burrow. Monday Night Football. Bengals 27, Cowboys 20. We are live. Heeding that call. Welcome to everybody in the live stream. Dan Hanzus, Marc Sessler. And I don't believe in that, Mark, the idea of we were owed one. Because if football teams or football fans were owed one, you and I would have seen our teams play in a Super Bowl at some point in our lifetimes. There is no such thing as, due, and then you get it. And that kind of sucks, but that's a reality. However, I totally get how Joe Burrow and the Bengals are feeling, a team that has time and time again found ways to blow games. I believe they had been winless in one-score games this season, which is why they lost 8 of their first 12 games, and it ruined their season. And yet, tonight, on a freaky play where the Cowboys in the final minutes block a punt, and then a Cowboys player touches the ball and doesn't hold on, leading to a Bengals recovery. And soon enough, the great Ja'Marr Chase is in the end zone after another insane game. And yes, the rest is history. So the Bengals 5-8, Cowboys 5-8, another week in the books. What's up, Mark?
A weird game. I mean, I'm with you. And you've been on the Bengals and the Joe Burrow train, for months and months. They needed this. They really did. And I think, Joe Burrow's words right there are basically gospel and the truth of what the team commanded, needed, wanted. And, it's too late. It's too late. And that's the problem for the Bengals. It's too late. There's a bit of a sadness to this game tonight for me because I do see a team that could beat anyone in the AFC on the right day. And just nothing seems to go correctly for them. Tonight it does, but am I wrong? It just feels kind of like this is a football game because this is like December football.
Are you wrong about what?
Well, December football, it's we're now watching two teams. There's not a lot of stakes attached to either of these teams, but it's I'm watching it like a what could have been with the Bengals. That's how I feel about them. That's what I feel. Just what could have been, and it's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever watched and observed, and it feels a little bit like a waste, but not tonight, but just in general.
It's a waste of a season of Joe Burrow's prime, absolutely, and Ja'Marr Chase's prime, for that matter, because right. These two guys, and I think it is notable at the very least. I actually caught this I was in the next room, but I did overhear it, and I was like, ah, shit. So it was Adam Schefter minutes before kickoff, doing some type of conversation, I guess, on the field, and he wasn't doing any hard reporting, but he was floating out there things that I think I even said it kind of joking around on Sunday, I believe, the idea of Joe Burrow being frustrated by the circumstances in Cincinnati and how poorly this season has gone, and perhaps, just perhaps, Burrow, could end up in a way it did with Carson Palmer, where he forces his way out of town, the way Palmer did to get to Oakland back in the day, and it feels like it's not something that's imminent, but it would behoove the Bengals, in addition to finishing this season with some level of dignity, to have a really good offseason and spend money. And I know the idea of keeping T. Higgins, Ja'Marr Chase, and Joe Burrow together seems unlikely, but maybe give it a shot, or do a hell of a job in the draft, where Cincinnati has been good, and there's a reason why they have had good teams dotted throughout the last decade or so. They have hit on the draft a few times to bulk up this defense and get this team back to where it should be, because you have such a special quarterback. And you saw it again in this game, but I don't want to shortchange how good Ja'Marr Chase is too, Mark, because as brilliant as Burrow is as a quarterback, it is Jamar Chase, who is like the number one wide receiver in the league last year. Last year was CeeDee Lamb, ironically, that was having these type of games down the stretch. 18 targets for Chase in this game, 14 catches for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. He scored the first and last touchdown of the game. And of course, yes, the 40-yarder in the final minutes to clinch a win. He is as brilliant as a quarterback as Burrow is. That's how brilliant a wide receiver Chase is. They're a dynamic duo.
And like I think it's all the more impressive when you know it's coming his way and no one can stop it. Like T. Higgins tonight, 2 catches for 23 yards. Like he's meant to be the guy that deflects attention and creates opportunities for Jamar Chase. You're not going to see a box score like that in games in general. Like this is a completely out of the world type of box score, and he's incredible.
But he does it sometimes. That Chase is one of those guys that will put these type of games. Like every time he steps on the field, he is one of those guys. Like he could go off for 260 today. Like he's paired with Burrow, and that's again why, Mark, it's so crazy that this team is going home after week 18 because there's so much potential and superstar juice on this team, and they just didn't get it done. I mean, they got it done tonight, but
yeah, it's week after week. Like we got Joe Burrow throwing for 369 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they mentioned at the end of the broadcast that Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, who for years in a row did a great job, but it's been a mess this year. That like he's kind of heartbroken about how this season's played out. Just in general, with the defense has been outside of Trey Hendrickson, it's like there are big problems here, and it's been the reason that they've been completely taken apart. But they're just incomplete. And we talked to Duke Tobin at the Combine a couple of years ago, and that was
that's right.
Well, we did, but that was like one of the first true sort of general manager type figures that's had a voice outside of Mike Brown. And like our great friend Wes, wrote a massive binder and collected notes on why the Bengals were no longer his team, and it was because of the ownership. And it's like, you've got to convince Joe Burrow and the rest of the people that are starry figures here that this is a team that's serious about winning. And I don't know what the future is. I think it is fair to wonder if like you lose your star quarterback, because he talked about the Super Bowl window being open forever. Okay, that also requires like your organization and your team to build around you in a way that's collective, that is balanced, and you are in a division with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the Baltimore Ravens. Like, are you serious, Mike Brown?
Yeah, well, we got a comment here from WTDJ610. Do you suppose Burrow would take back his career Super Bowl window remark now he's played a year with absolutely no day? No, of course not. In fact, I love that. I love everything about Burrow.
It is open with him, right? Like it doesn't matter
open,
almost, right?
But I understand what our listener means by that, but at the same time, it's like that's the bravado and the moxie you want from your quarterback who thinks he's the baddest mother effer on the planet, and he just needs more help, and he has not got enough help. I mean, listen, I'm such a Burrow guy. I'm such a Burrow head let's check out the pregame outfit that he had on. I mean, I showed it to my eldest son, my 10-year-old Jack, and I was like, let him be the arbiter because he's kind of drippy with the way he dresses. He loved it. He absolutely loved this outfit. My wife zoomed in on the shoes. It's weird because he's got like almost clogs on, or they're like, can you zoom in on that, Justin? Is that possible? Like they're like the investment banker shoes. And then the outfit's like the type of pajamas that a 7-year-old would like crave on Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Like with the sunglasses indoors. He's a different dude. You do wonder what he's thinking right now about his long-term future. Does he see himself as Cincinnati forever? And then you look on the other side of the field. Let's look at Micah Parsons. You want to talk about superstar? Oh, there's the shot. See there.
Well, and this is, by the way, like I feel this is in contrast to me texting both you and Justin during the game saying, this seems absurd to me. Who's dressing this person?
Right,
but I am not of that generation, so I understand.
Exactly. Like it's part of the generation, Mark, is you need to stand out, you know, and I know, like, I think you look sharp today with your the free shirt that you got. That I have that shirt too. I haven't worn it yet. And the reason I'm not wearing it is because I know there's a 75% chance you'll be wearing it when I sit down at my chair, and I don't want to have to change. So I'm held hostage by your very tight rotation. In fact, not to get one.
Well, hold on.
One
just
second,
text
Justin.
me before the show and say, it's my night to wear the free shirt, and I'd
not
happily
to
would shit.
not to get off topic today, but we do like pre-rolls where we have to do ad reads, and I was on, because I'm just a warrior, a physical warrior. I was on the Peloton bike watching the game in the first half, so I was like, "Hey, I can't do the pre-read with you, Justin." And I was like, "Mark can handle it." And then Mark's response was what, Justin?
My shirt's in the wash.
Yeah, my shirt's not ready.
In the I think I meant the dryer. Like, it was still not, even
Like-
when I
But
like
who
you have
makes
one
the
shirt.
Who's the brand? That's the whole point. It's Doer. This episode is brought to you by Doer, and Mark's wearing his Doer shirt. Yay,
I think
check
that's
the
what
link in the
that's what matters.
description.
And also, like, by the way, when I did the read,
Thank you, Justin.
like, end of third quarter, I did the read for the brand. The shirt wasn't entirely dry; it was still a little damp, and like, that's a warrior.
Right, but
If we want to talk about warriors, like,
the way you said it, it made it sound like it was your only shirt, and this shirt happened to be in the wash, so you were just topless in your home, waiting for your only shirt to be ready, so you could do the ad read. It was kind of an interesting little text. It was one of those Mark texts where you're just like, I love this guy.
You got sex addiction? You got a problem with sex?
well, so
sex,
I
you
can-
addicted to sex?
I
The sex
cannot
addiction
win
or
with this
something?
crew. That is clear. I really do feel like if you send me, not and you being
Nakedness.
collective, like a top, a shirt that I love, like, I'll probably wear it like 80%
Here it is.
of the time.
Yeah, we need to record our do or read before we go live. This is from Justin. This is a little pull back the curtain to heed the call, our thread. They also asked if you could wear your doer shirt for recording. Nice. I love that. Oh, you know what? I have to apologize. I totally missed the context here. I didn't realize.
Thank you. Oh, context. We're adding context to the
I owe you an apology, Mark, because I didn't realize that they wanted this shirt in particular, and that's
And
why.
God forbid Justin, butts in with any sort of context that doesn't that swings pro Mark. Like, that would be a new trend.
It doesn't surprise me that shirt's in the wash. It's getting a lot of run. And it looks great for you. Good job, Doer.
It
All right, let's
feels
get back on
like a
topic.
processed ad read, but it wasn't. That was
It wasn't.
organic conversation. Yeah.
It wasn't. All right. What else? Oh, yeah, Micah Parsons. So here's the other. Oh, man.
This.
So here we go. The Cowboys are about to get the ball back with a score tied. 2020, first play after the 2-minute warning. Nick Vigil, shout out Nick Vigil, who's like also has to be like mega pissed. Blocks a punt by Cincinnati's Ryan Reckow, and then Amani Aruwariye tries to field the bouncing ball when he could have just left it alone, given Dallas possession on Cincinnati's side of the field, and when he muffs it inevitably, Jesus Christ, the Bengals' Mema Nanjanmeta recovered at the Cincinnati 43-yard line with 1:53 remaining. And show me Micah again. I mean, that's his reaction. And then they
knows
showed
he's on
him
camera.
stomping off the field too, Mark. And it's like, you want to talk about, I don't think that Micah's going anywhere. He likes being on the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are going to take care of him. But at the same time, what a frustrating season for Dallas, and what a house of horrors AT&T Stadium has been for them. And I kind of forgot, because we now think of the Cowboys at home are just getting killed. And on some level, this was progress today. But before the playoff game in January, and then this lost season where they've lost 6 of 7 in their building, they were 8-1 and 8-0 at AT&T Stadium. So the first thing they need to figure out, beyond making the upgrades to the roster, is how do we get our home field advantage back? Because it doesn't happen. But when you're starting Cooper Rush, no offense, and Ezekiel Elliott's still seeing the field in nearly 2025, there are limits to what you're going to be able to do ultimately. Team needs work.
Yeah, like, I don't think Cooper Rush is the biggest issue here, and like, I also think like when you get these are seasonal things. Like, when you get like the home record that is a disaster like this, like, I don't know how you diagnose that. They're also like, it's Dallas. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to a Cowboy. I had the chance to go to a couple Cowboys games like in Dallas, where you've got Jerry Jones spending 45 minutes, shaking hands with like 150 to 250 men and women before the game. It's like very ceremonial. It's not Pittsburgh. It's not New York. It's not Cleveland. It's like it's warm. It's temperate. It's not intimidating. So what is home field advantage like, and why are they so bad?
Well, when they were 16-1 the 2 years before that, it was certainly a good home field advantage. It just
but
everything has gone sideways.
I don't think it's because of the stadium. That's all I'd say. Like, so it's not it. Like when I think about we've got to go to Pittsburgh and win a game. Like when I think about the Steelers in the playoffs, well, they could steal a playoff game. It's just different to me than that. That's all. But they've got a lot of issues, and you've got to keep your quarterback healthy. And like even tonight, I don't like watching like Joe Burrow having to put a brace or a sleeve on his knee, the same knee that the ACL that he tore years ago. It's like that's the same thing with the Bengals too. It's like if we lose this player, we're gone. And like I don't know. I come out of this game feeling just a little bit of sadness for like specifically. Forget the Cowboys, the Bengals. I just do. I'm like, this team could have taken out any one of these top tier AFC teams.
Well, now you understand why when you nominated to fork them twice, Mark. It was like,
but that's technical. But that is fair.
Yeah,
that's technical. It's not. It's like
This was a weird season, and
yes.
I think if they played these games, these 13 games, if you did it 10 times, the 5-8 outcome, I don't think it typically happens. But it did, and there's a huge amount of frustration, obviously, in that locker room. And I think we mentioned Lou Anarumo. They flashed up late in the game that he. By the way, you were right. I mean about the forking of Cincinnati, but like what I mean is like I think it's more like for me, or what the original conceit, as I recalled for the fork segment, is like, who do you think has no chance of making the playoffs? And like there was never a point until I guess they lost that the Pittsburgh game, where I was like, okay, now they're out, because they just have this ability to light up every team. And that's why Lou Anarumo, as like, how do we keep the quarterback from jumping ship? Jamar Chase is this amazing player, but he's also a guy that can be temperamental, like many number one wide receivers are. It's in their DNA. Like, how do we keep him from getting upset and saying, I want out of here? It's like, okay, you gotta sacrifice somebody. So I think Lou's going to go overboard more likely than Zach, and then they have to add talent. Like, there's a talent deficit on this defense. To their credit, I thought they did pretty well in this game. The Cowboys and Cooper Rush, after they went down the field and really it looked like it was going to be finally a big CeeDee Lamb night, and he scores a touchdown on 4th and 1. It's like, oh, here we go again. But I thought from that point on, Cincinnati's defense actually played a lot better. And in general, like, then they catch the break at the end. It's like, okay, like they had a couple more of these, and maybe the AFC playoff, because the AFC playoff picture could have used Cincinnati around, and when you look at the playoff picture, there's not a lot of juice right now in terms of how things, barring a total collapse by either Los Angeles or Denver, I think we're pretty locked in. It would have been nice to have a chaos agent, as was mentioned on Sky Sports, and Cincinnati could have been that. Now they just have to be a berserker. They'll have to settle for that.
Well, yeah, because like if you look at the playoff picture, the AFC has, lowercase e dash eliminated is like 5 or 6 teams, and the NFC, I think it was just the Giants coming into tonight that were eliminated. So AFC's pretty settled, but I don't feel excited about it outside of 1 or 2 teams. And you're right, the Bengals, something about the Bengals feels kind of wild, there's possibility. It's vibrant with possibility, and yet we won't get that possibility. And T. Higgins will be gone. You've got Chase, who seems to me to be a bit of he seems to me to be like, mood-wise, like he'd go left or right, and then like we'll see what happens.
I'd take him on my team, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, absolutely, but
that dude's a baller,
and even if Burrow wants to show up in his whatever those were, pajamas from like a child's Christmas party, like I'll take him too.
What was you saw it somewhere, Gravedigger? What was the comment someone said that Burrow's outfit looked like what?
A 90s movie theater carpet.
Yeah, that had like AMC Regent type energy to it. Sam Bruce Smith.
Well said.
Look, it's tight in the thighs and the knees, and then it almost has like a bit of a flare at the bottom, like a boot cut.
It's a little like late 60s, early 70s.
The best part of it is, Mark,
yeah,
probably costs like $17,000.
Well, I also
God
know,
bless him.
my one thing is he went to that fashion show with Jamar Chase, and
you don't like that, right? You like your men to be lunch pail guys. I get
no,
it.
I don't need that. I don't need that necessarily. But like I thought it was a bit like when my quarterback, he's not my quarterback, but like he's wearing like it was like an open a blouse with like an open back area. Like,
hey, listen,
okay,
the one true great quarterback in the history of my team did a pantyhose commercial. He wore a white full-length mink coat on the sideline. Some of these guys, they're just different, Mark. They and us.
I learned when I text some of my thoughts to to our group, the three of us, like Justin will quickly tell me like, no, that doesn't fit in, with today's society. So it's like, did he make you feel a certain way? That's unfortunate that our producer would do that to you. You don't. He likes to correct certain aspects of myself, so we get that. Justin, I think you'd agree.
I've been called snarky multiple times in the past month, and like in the first 31 and a half years of my life, I had been called snarky 0 times. So maybe I'm getting snarkier. I don't know.
Okay. Sam Bruce Smith, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. They played well versus Cooper Rush. Is this a bottom 8 team? This is like a bottom 8 team in the Cowboys offense. Yeah. Well, Cooper Rush has been okay, actually, since taking over. Not great, but okay. The point being is like Cincinnati's defense has been so bad this year that I half expected the Cowboys to put up 30. So, take wherever you could take a win with this defense this year, you'll take it, even against the backup of Dak Prescott. All right, let's take a break, and then we will do a little bit of news and then get on out of here.
It's the best feeling when clothes fit good and look good. You can comfortably wear them and feel confident in how you look all day long. That's exactly how I feel about my clothing from Doer. I'm wearing one right now. Like, this is the thing. I love the shirt, and Justin knows I've wore this like 6 days in a row. It's a great shirt. It's a shirt for a woodsman. It's wonderful. Trust me, if you haven't ordered your own Doers yet, now is the time. Doers has style that can be worn all year round. Their stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel is built for doing. Plus, Doer is committed to sustainability. They use recycled materials and plant-based fibers wherever possible for natural breathability, softness, and moisture absorption. These are clothes we can feel good about purchasing. Do what I did. Upgrade your denim with Doer. Check out Doer's flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/HTC. Right now, heed the call. Listeners get 20% off their first purchase when you use our exclusive URL, shopdoer.com/HTC. This is an awesome deal, so don't wait to get 20% off. Go now to shopdoer.com/HTC.
Heed the call. Dan Hanzus and Marc Sessler is on Underdog, so why not start playing on Underdog today? It's not just the NFL. The NBA is back. You got the NHL. You got college sports. So many options. So don't miss out. Download and play on the Underdog app. Sign up with the code HTC and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Make the most of this NFL season by playing along on Underdog for our U.S. audience only. All right, we are back. We are here with...
Well, look at this.
Yes, this is Jack Hanzus, my son, 10 years old. And I asked Jack, because he watched The Simpsons telecast today on Disney+.
Well done.
If he wanted to share a review of his thoughts on that product. And he has now decided he wants to do it. So, Jack, the microphone's yours. What did you think about The Simpsons telecast?
I think it was really convenient because the fact that they all put it in like the Simpsons way was very cool, and the animation like felt like real, and the actors were like good.
Yeah, which Simpsons character had the biggest game?
I think it was Homer Simpson.
Oh, wow, Homer.
Oh, was he Joe Burrow? I think he might have been Joe Burrow.
Homer needed a win as much as the Bengals, and it looks like Lisa, look at this. This is
Lisa doing the Jamar Chase thing at the end. Yeah,
so she had a big game as well.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Lisa's performance?
I think Lisa did really good, too.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Simpsons episode? We watch the boys, although they, were born decades after the Simpsons high point. I grew up on the Simpsons, and one thing we watch every October is many of the Halloween specials. What is your favorite Simpsons Halloween special episode?
There's a lot to choose from, but I think it's one where they're like in like that hotel, and then they take away like all of Homer's like beer and then TV.
Oh yeah, that is the Shining homage. What is it? No beer and no TV make Homer go crazy.
Yes, it would.
We also like when the Dolphins take over. That app,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Anyway, so do you think that the Simpsons episode, they should do another one in the future?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you need to say to Uncle Marc Sessler?
Bye.
All right, there he
Well,
goes,
that's
ladies
what-
and gentlemen.
That's
Good
what
job,
most people
buddy.
tend to say. So,
All
well,
right.
it wasn't a debut, I guess, but what a segment.
Bye.
That was.
What a segment.
I'm very proud of him because he was shy. He's a very outgoing boy, but
Yeah.
that is something that it took a little bit of bravery there, a lot of bravery, and now I can tell he was beaming, as is his old man internally. That was nice.
He's on how many? He's captured a live. I wouldn't call it television, but a live media moment. He came in and nailed live media, which is
I think maybe it's now the Jack Hanzus Media Minute.
Yes,
I think
it is.
I have to pass the torch. I do like the idea of the podcast one day just being Jack, Harrison, Luke, Colton, and then like 7 or 8 of Justin's illegitimate children that we just
Right.
rotate in as the producer.
They could be the stringers because they're scattered all over the globe. I have the other daughter that you know about as well. She could be at that point an older attaché. So
We could use Justin's children throughout America as Spinal Tap had to keep replacing the drummers. We'll
he
always
can't stop
have one
having
on it.
children,
Yeah.
and that's my concern for Justin. I've tried to voice that, but that was he didn't want to listen to that. But enough with the children, Justin. Just work through
Look
life.
at this. And how can we forget Terry and Lisa's children who perished
of course.
tragically last Thursday? Justin, anything about anything?
No. Mystery. Keep it that way.
Let's see. He's got nothing to say. I do like it as a Nepo Babies pod. That does sound good. All right, let's quickly do a little bit of news.
Never, ever, 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 okay, ever apologize for winning a game in the NFL. Ever. Okay? And guess what? The team that was leading our division lost again. Oh.
Listen to that locker room. I can't get enough of the Saints locker room right now. They are on fire. And I don't know, does Sky Rizzi know that that the Bucs are actually in first place? It doesn't matter at this point. Just let him have his fun. But that is an electric locker room. I can't get enough of it.
It's really one of the great things about the late part of the NFL season when you get the interim coach and the locker room is just waiting to get to the Bahamas come early January, and they can't because they still have to deal with this person for weeks on end. But I don't know. The Saints to me feel like a weird destination, a strange location.
Also, a strange location would be seeing Bill Belichick, a handful of wins shy of passing Don Shula as the most winning coach in the history of the NFL. Instead, taking a job at UNC, the 72-year-old confirmed that he has been in talks with North Carolina about the school's open coaching job. He said that on the McAfee show on Monday. Belichick confirmed to McAfee that he had, quote, a couple of good conversations, close quote, with UNC Chancellor Lee Roberts. There's your little Lee Roberts update on Heed the Call today. He adds, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. He concluded the interview by saying about the UNC job, we'll see. Can you even imagine how bad an interviewer 72-year-old Bill Belichick is? I mean, he's got all you really have to do is I've been to 9 Super Bowls and I've won 6, and that's it. What else does he really need to say?
He doesn't need to say much else. I do watch him pretty consistently on the Manning cast, and I find him engaging. I think you just got to get him in his zone. I don't get what he's doing here because just go to an NFL team and break Don Shula's record.
Maybe he's and I'm sure UNC is fine with it because it's promotion and publicity, I guess, on some level. But maybe just knocking off the rust. When's the last time this man interviewed for a job? 25 years ago?
I think you're right. I think it's let's play A against B, and we're not doing NFL interviews yet. But don't make it feel like you're not going to get him. But I feel like if I'm Bill Belichick, go break that record and give your middle finger to everyone.
I agree. By the way, one of the many things about in other news. One of the many things about being a fan of a bad team is even, when you have young players that keep losing, then you have to start worrying about, like, oh, man, is this guy going to try to get out of town? Right. And sure enough, we get a report from multiple people on the Jets beat that Garrett Wilson, it is expected, will put in a formal request for a trade. And, I got to be honest with you, like, that's not ideal because I had heard, I'm choosing my words carefully. I don't, could be kids in the car if you're listening, but Santa had planned or was dropping off a Juan Soto Yankees jersey for the boy that just appeared on the show, and we have to tell Santa that has to go back to from whence it came. Yeah. And then my other son had asked Santa for a Garrett Wilson jersey, and because Santa has to get these things in order for his sleigh, he had already loaded it into his sack, as I understand it. So old Zuzzer is going to have to work with Santa perhaps on this merchandise finding its way back to the North Pole. Anyway, long story short, it just sucks and frustrating because Garrett Wilson is a stud, but he's unhappy because he's not only been playing for a bad team for 3 years. Jets are embarrassing bad. So just keep that name in mind. If the Jets decide we don't want to, a guy that's going to command $30 million a year potentially, if he's unhappy and they don't think they can get it done, he's going to be a major chip out there when we talk about the teams like the Patriots, not that the Jets and the Patriots would probably do business, but the Chargers or 15 other teams. Garrett Wilson in the right setup could be what Sam Darnold is in Minnesota right now. He could be a superstar 1A wide receiver in the right setup. So just stick a pin in that one, Mark. Garrett Wilson likely looking to get out of town.
I mean, it's depressing because you would have projected like, well, Garrett Wilson, who could have understandably been annoyed a couple of years ago, you've had Aaron Rodgers for 2 seasons and you're still upset and you still want to go. And like, I think players they're just more savvy about their careers, obviously, and they're more plugged in, and you don't have a GM. So it's like, what is the plan situation here? You don't have a coach or a GM. Right. Or a quarterback. So it's like, I do think if you're him, you're looking at like a Jamar Chase, you're looking at these guys and saying like, I'm in control of my career, not the GM, not the coach. This is not 1991. So yeah, I'm not
Wilson,
surprised by it.
To the Chargers, as an example, is that would be Justin Herbert getting a true number one. And I'm sure Garrett Wilson, like many 24-year-old multi-million-dollar athletes, would love to call Los Angeles home. So anyway, just keep an eye on that. And let's see, injury news. Sky Rizzi said Derek Carr does have a fracture to his non-throwing hand, but he's considered week to week. It's not an IR situation. He's also in the concussion protocol. Derek, let's just shut it down, man. What is Jedrick Wills, the Browns lineman? He admitted he made a business decision. Is that what he called it?
Yeah, and they put him on IR, and he's gone.
Derek, go ahead.
Like, yeah,
it's okay.
So I looked at like the contract situation with Derek Carr. I would just say this: it's very manageable. It's manageable enough to move on after this season for both sides. So like, I just can't. Can you really picture him being there a year from now? Like, I just think that's another team like that is going to start over, and like, it's not a Derek Carr. He's fine, but like, I don't see him as part of this organization a year from now. And so like, why go mine through 3 or 4 more weeks of punishment?
I think Derek Carr's next career destination is probably in the Baker Mayfield 2 years ago mold, where he's going to look for a team where he can compete, but he is not locked and loaded on any levels to QB1, and that's kind of probably his best case scenario at this stage of his career. His status for Week 15 is up in the air. He hasn't been ruled out yet. I was very happy, Mark. Nobody cares about your fantasy team or mine, and certainly not Justin's, no matter how much he tells us about it.
Well, he wants us to feel that that's the case, but yeah, you're right.
But I was mighty proud of myself. Sorry, Justin. To pick up, as a guy who picked up Jordan Mason Week 1, then traded in a savvy move, traded for Christian McCaffrey in October and stashed him, and then got him back, and then We know what happened to Christian McCaffrey. Then use the remaining budget I had on my free agent wire to bring in Isaac Guerendo. And then Guerendo's a stud in the regular season finale week. Well, now he's hurt too. And it's just like, can we chill with the injuries in the Niners backfield? He has a foot sprain. He'll be evaluated. And this comes after he had about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in his debut. Such a great athlete. He'll be evaluated over the next few days. They don't think it's a serious one. We're not hearing the harlot Liz Frank, for example, being involved. But the Niners play their season on the line essentially on a short week on Thursday. So I don't know if we're going to see Guerendo. And if we don't have Guerendo, and I will have $2 in my waiver wire to pick up who's left.
Keshawn Vaughn. You could pick up
Oh,
Keshawn
yeah.
Vaughn.
I'll be all over that. Keshawn Vaughn pickup. Israel Abanaconda. Oh, yeah. So
that.
the Niners
Well,
need it. They
They're
need to
saying
win.
Patrick Taylor is the next man up. So maybe, I don't know. This is going to get murky at this point. Guerendo was like, he's going to be stepping in as the lead back. Now what do they do? Is Patrick Taylor going to be the lead back? Or are they going to go committee style with this group of 3 that's left?
Super annoying.
It's
What a
shit
committee.
show.
Super annoying. Let's think about the Zuzzers fantasy team first and foremost in these trying times. In other running back injury news, tough one. The Pellraiser reports that Jonathan Brooks of the Panthers retore his right ACL on Sunday. Canal has actually said this in his presser. Terrible. First running back that came off the board in April, made his debut on November 24th, appeared in 3 games, and now back to the surgery table and the long, grueling rehab. Terrible. The Texans have designated linebacker Christian Harris and offensive lineman Kenyon Green to return to practice from injured reserve. Their window is open, and the Texans need help. So those are guys that they're hoping make an impact. Drew Lock will start for the Giants against the Ravens if he's healthy enough. Brian Dable told reporters he's going through tests. I don't even know what his injury is. I don't care. But what happened? Did Tommy Meatballs? Did they put him in mothballs? Is it Tommy Mothballs now?
I think they moved on from that. What was more of a social experiment than a football experiment? Yes, I think they moved on from that.
Yeah, tough one. Bucs coach Todd Bowles told a reporter that All-Pro safety Antoine Winfield will miss, quote, several games with a sprained knee. Tough blow to their defense. However, this team has found a way throughout the season to keep their heads above water, and they just got to probably get to 9 wins to win that crummy division. So hopefully they can do that, and Winfield can come back, and then you get a frisky NFC South team. I don't need anybody else, Mark, from the NFC South sniffing the postseason. Just get the Bucs in there, and at least we get Baker on a Saturday night, maybe.
I like you bringing crummy back into the lexicon. I mean, of those news items, many were lost in the mix. Like Jonathan Brooks, who just spent like 9 months. Your rehab. I'll never forget watching a Gronkowski thing about his rehab. You're just alone. You're alone rehabbing with 1 or 2 people, and now he has to go back and rehab the same body part again. I think what they were wanting to do was pair up. It's not the same as Aikman and Emmitt Smith, but get a quarterback and a lead running back and build your offense. And
Abaconda don't want none unless you got $2, hun. I get it, Carl.
That's where we're going with that. I like
the old heads know it. But
Yeah.
great. That was good. That was a good take also, Mark. Sorry.
Isn't that the name of your fantasy football team, Mark? You said it on Sunday's show?
No, my team is. I mean, I already said it, but it's like big. First of all, there's only so many letters you can fit in. So it's like big butts plus versus and, because I ran out of space. Like big butts and cannot lie.
And what is that line from?
Well, it's from.
Am I wrong? Is that not the right song? Am I confused?
No, I think you're dead
Justin,
on. But
you're wasting our time, Justin.
Okay, I'm sorry.
you're dead on. But
Justin, just hit the Jim Harbaugh Winston drop in that spot and be done with it, so we can just move.
I like hearing from Justin in that moment.
Hey, Justin, can
What,
you come back?
you a sex addiction? You got a problem with sex? Sex
Well,
you
I
addicted to
support
sex?
you, and you
Sex
go
addiction,
down
Justin?
that road again.
It's Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yes.
Yeah.
The 1992 rap classic. Is that what you were getting at?
Is that not the same song? That is the same song, right?
Or are you thinking of the Nicki Minaj where she sampled it? Did you know it came from?
Well, no, I was
Mix-a-Lot?
not thinking of Nicki
No,
Minaj.
I didn't
I know
even
you
know.
weren't.
Yeah,
but
right.
did you know about Sir Mix-a-Lot, Justin?
I didn't even know Nicki Minaj sampled it. So yes, I'm very familiar with the Sir Mix-a-Lot version.
Same page.
Look at
We're
you.
on the same. We're on the same page.
Look at the
I agree
44-year-old
with our producer.
and the 53-year-old just taking it to the kid.
53. I'm not 50. I'm not going to stand for that slander.
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
Forever young, forever young. Let's see. Finally, Raiders quarterback. This is good news. I think this is the first time this has ever happened, by the way. Usually, when you're in an aircast, it's bang time. It's like, I'll see you next year, and maybe you're walking with a limp for the next 18 months. But in this case, Aiden O'Connell, he was put in an aircast after he took a late hit and landed awkwardly on his leg. It looked like a broken leg. All those Twitter doctors that we love were all saying, "Oh, this is a classic tibia. Yep, classic tibia."
That's how they
Yep,
speak.
this is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one for Aiden. Classic tibia situation. No, it's a bone bruise in his knee. Smart guy. Literally a doctor sitting on his laptop about 3,000 miles away from the site of the game. The MRI confirmed this morning, sources told Rap Sheet, despite reports to the contrary. Now I'm just reading Graver copy, and I'm loving it. O'Connell hasn't been ruled out for Monday's game. Desmond Ridder finished the game for Las Vegas at QB, and he would be the guy if O'Connell can't go. By the way, if you are on a 9-game or 10-game losing streak or whatever, and, the only thing left at this point, unless you're just trying to save your coach from getting fired, is just get the number 1 pick and be done with this miserable season.
Right.
We don't need to rush Aiden O'Connell 7 days after he was in a aircast being taken to a hospital playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's put Desmond Ridder in there. Okay.
Like, I am searching through my mind at the moment actively for things that are more meaningless. And I'm struggling to come up with items.
Justin, anything else? How about let's check in on the old live chat. What do you got?
All right. Okay. Here's one.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got. But, that song actually, when it came out in 1992.
Could you release that today, by the way? Could you put
Oh,
that?
of course. What I'm saying is it was ahead of its time. I will say as like a white boy from the suburbs, I was like learning. It was like the whole song, Sir Mix-a-Lot, the Seattle native, is about like at the time when Kate Moss was huge and it was all about being having no curves and being skinny and starving
wavy.
yourself.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
your diet was smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
Like here's Sir Mix-a-Lot being like, I like it thick. Like that's a real woman to me. Like that was not conventional wisdom in 1992. Now today, there's a huge intersection of people that like healthy women.
There are.
Mark.
Well, I think that's an incredible take because I think it's like
Sir
culturally.
Mix-a-Lot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Round of
like,
applause.
I think you nailed that because you were right. We were in a period where like attractiveness equaled like I'm a dangerously wayfish individual, and like he came out of it wasn't left field. It was just sort of speaking for another segment of the population, saying like if you're Jason Zumwalt or if you're Sir Mix-a-Lot, like you like something different.
Yeah, you better be caked up if you're going to be with me.
Yeah. And Jason Zumwalt had no choice over the matter, but Sir Mix-a-Lot did, so, preference
Absolute
needs.
wagon.
He spoke truth to power, that Sir Mix-a-Lot. Connor Roper, can Mark with a C get behind the Rams and ruin their season now as well? No, leave the Rams alone. But how about this, Mark? When you were last night, you were saying how, abandon all hope, ye who enter the NFL playoffs because the Chiefs are going to win again. How about get behind the Chiefs in a meaningful voodoo manner?
Well, I see that people assume I have a power now, and they want me to use it for their own needs.
Use it for good.
I could be cajole. I mean, what do I get out of it? Like, I need in reverse.
Do you want to see Patrick Mahomes lifting another Lombardi and Travis Kelce singing into a microphone, like, and us having to talk about that shit again? I mean, I think everybody kind of wins.
No,
Chiefs fans don't, but
I could get behind it in theory. I understand that. That feels we've done that a couple times.
you have what's that Sessler drop? I have power. You have the power, Mark. By let's stick a pin in this, and we could talk about it on Thursday. But you have the power to single-handedly end the Chiefs dynasty, if you so choose.
My only note would be that it needs to feel, because if we talk about it too much, we're on open airwaves. Like, if I seem to get behind a team with true passion, that's what creates the so-called reverse curse on them. If I just do it like as I'm pulling a lever, I don't know if it does.
I think part of the voodoo curse, we get that voodoo music.
It has to be that I care.
You have to be invested in them.
Right.
It's that passion that Mark has. It's like, for some, you could actually remember in Space Jam when the guys, like, it went into their body and they lost all their basketball playing ability. It's like almost the bad Browns voodoo of Mark. It like goes from Cleveland through Connecticut, back through Los Angeles, and then into whatever facility Mark has deemed to be the hot location of the NFL.
Why was I brought to the planet? Like, it feels nefarious.
What else we got? Couple more. Motel Ghost. I demand a Connor the Clown update tonight. We got that one. Maybe tomorrow's midweek show. The midweek show taping, we will address it with Connor, and we will get answers. Don't worry. You have the HDC Media Insider on this, and we have a source very close to the story. Put it that way. Mandy Meyer, I'm just here to see when Justin's edibles kick in. Oh, you're watching it in real time. Justin is messed up. Joseph V, love from China. China, Mark. China.
There we go. It's very good.
It's very good in China.
Very nice. It's very good.
Manufacture quite a bit. Mark, the shirt is sharp. So we got crummy and sharp today. First time caller, long time listener. Any doomsday predictions for this upcoming Super Bowl?
Oh, I think it was Joseph from China. I think he's referring to like an animal biting someone's head off at halftime, or like a bomb landing. It's in New Orleans. The last time we went to, the last time we were in New Orleans, like, I had to write an NFL.com story, one of the worst hours of my life, like, about the electricity going out in the stadium in the middle of the Super Bowl. It caused a 16, 17-minute break. It feels excessive that something else would happen. So I'm actually going to hold off on doomsday.
I saw an article today that apparently Nostradamus, who I love Nostradamus. I used to watch the
you love him.
The Orson Welles HBO documentary from the early 80s.
Nostradamus over here now.
It was called The Man Who Saw Tomorrow. Very
I've
scary.
seen that. Yep.
Terrifying, actually. Go watch it. It's on YouTube now if you haven't. Because he got a lot of things right, or close to right.
He got a lot of things wrong too, but
a lot of things wrong.
Yeah, he's a wide net, I would say.
He kind of predicted 9/11. He said there would be 3. What did he call them? Antichrists, and he named one of them as Hister.
Yep,
this was
you're
like
right.
1,000 years before or whatever. Anyway, apparently 2025 is a rough one according to Nostradamus. So.
Oh, is that? Are there they've zoned into?
Yeah. I read that in the beacon of journalism, the New York Post. Droidian, where is the sex addiction drop from? Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Jim Harbaugh at the Combine talking to Jameis Winston?
Correct.
Who had his own grab him by the blank moment while in college. He had a lot of moments in college, which people like to sweep under the rug now. But and post-college, quite frankly. But, yes, that's what it was in reference to, I believe.
All right, last one. I think we should really dive in on this.
Justin does not answer the question, but okay.
I said correct.
Oh.
Thoughts on the Luigi arrest? It is my jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, and I know Mark agrees. Like, why shouldn't we get into conspiracies surrounding, like, very public execution-style murders?
Yes, of a health care CEO that was not well regarded for how he treated the collective of people who needed health care. He was gunned down at dawn in New York City last week.
Like kind of a hot killer from what I've seen. The only thing I'm not tracking this heavily, but like he apparently pulled was wearing a mask, and like a female individual, a woman, like sort of said to him like they wanted to talk to him, and he pulled his mask down and had like a very
that's how he got caught.
An hour before the murder happened. Are we sold that this is the right guy? That's all I'm saying. Is this really the guy? Do we know that for sure?
For sure.
I mean, there's a lot of evidence. The question I would, if you're asking this for real, is it possible there's more people potentially involved? Yes. The first thing that I thought was they probably shouldn't have made it public that there's someone at McDonald's that ratted him out, because there are millions of people who viewed this guy as kind of an anti-hero, as it were. Right. But I don't have a take on this. That guy that got shot obviously is tied to some dirty business. He was also a father and of 2 young kids. It was a pretty shitty situation. But the Luigi arrest, my thoughts are, man, unbelievable.
Yeah, I would just say quickly, like I also have not, I didn't dive into this case yet.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
We could just do an hour-long
Why are
news
you
show.
not diving in on this? That feels like the next episode of Rolling Thunder, for Christ's sake.
It could be. We could just do an hour-long news show. We just go right into news items, and like no one would care. But like
Patreon.com/eatthecall.
I'll learn more, but I just think it's interesting. Like hot killers are like kind of a cool thing if you think about it.
That's the second time you've called him hot, Mark. Can we please?
Well, I don't have a lot of evidence, but that's what other people were saying.
Something similar. Very
You know he's been apprehended, Mark, right?
Well, no, I need to dive in deeper into the case, so I'm not tracking minute by minute updates. I don't know the steel beams.
I mean, this is gonna you're gonna have to stay seated, Mark, when I tell you this. Not only is he hot, as you say, he was also the valedictorian of his school, his high school. So like,
he's clearly,
what a catch, Mark. He's hot and smart.
I think he's goal oriented. You could say that. He has a mission and he completes it. I don't like the steel beams reference to me, but okay.
Okay, thank you to everybody for joining us on the live chat. And Connor's going to be back with us for the midweek show. And yes, we will ask Connor all about his past as a magician, as we're being told. Anyway, we're moving to week 15, Mark. Week 15, the true home stretch of the regular season. And we are just getting warmed up. So thank you to everyone, both on the chat and for supporting the show. Also, a big announcement around Connor Orr and some holiday goodness. Also, midweek show. Don't miss it. Till then, heed the call.